Hey everyone, it's Sonia here at the Régie du Logement, my new home away from home. Just came out of another eviction court case. As you see, I have a little smile on my face, so things went very well, but I actually want to tell you what happened because it was quite funny because these people keep trying to screw me up and it just keeps not working out well for them. Let me find my car. So here's a little recap, okay? The building that I live in was bought by another company around 2020, and they had this company managing for them called Cogir. And ever since Cogir showed up, I started having problems. So I live in downtown Montreal in quite a small apartment. It's technically a 3.5, but I sleep in like the dining area of a kitchen, which functions as a room for me. So it's really like a small 4.5 compared to some of the small 4.5s out there. It's about roughly like that. And I pay about $1,300 a month with an indoor garage included, heat, electricity. So that is a very low rent. The reason it's so low is that I've been there for 17 years. And so every year I negotiate like some increase, but not too much, you know? So I have not had my rent jacked up. Now, rents were pretty stable up until about 2020. They would go up maybe $50 a year. That was a big increase, but that was about, you know, they weren't going through the roof. In the last 4 years, I don't know exactly what is the cause of this, but the rents have doubled. Like, you literally have to pay $2,500 for a 3.5 in downtown Montreal. So when this company took over my building, since I live on a corner apartment, very desirable, on the front side of the building, of course they want to get me out of my apartment so they can renovate it and charge twice as much. So what they've been doing is just basically dicking me around for the last few years. So you've probably heard this before, but just in case you haven't, the first time they charged me retroactively for an increase I didn't owe. They applied for eviction. I had to hire a lawyer. I was in Europe at the time. The day of the hearing, they threw it out. And I thought, okay, that's it. We're done. I came back to court. It took like another, year to get back to court to reclaim some of what I had given them for that, in that case, which I didn't owe them. The court awarded me $467. I was supposed to withhold it from my rent. So the next month I withhold it from my rent. As soon as I do that, they apply for eviction again for non-payment of rent. In between, I'm texting the landlord's representative who was here in court with me, and I'm like, why are you guys applying for eviction? He can't even explain it. Long story short, he thinks it's because they're charging me more than the increase that I agreed to. I'd send them all the documents, but they're charging me extra, but that doesn't even account for it. Finally, yesterday, it turns out that actually they were charging me for the amount that the court had awarded me. Okay, confusing enough? So I have another court date today because the last time I was here and I did a video, I said that the whole thing was supposed to be canceled because they said that they had made a mistake with how much rent they were charging me per month. Well, then I get another notice that I have to come back to court for eviction again. That's today. And you know what happened in between? The owners of this building, the main company, switched management companies. And because of that, there was no one there on the 1st to collect the rent. And there were some people in another building that we got notice to go to the other building on Monday, so the 4th. Yeah, Monday the 4th, we were told we could go to this other building and pay there. When we got there, they didn't have the automatic payment machine. So I knew that what they're going to do, since my hearing is on the 6th, is that if I don't pay the rent that day, they're going to say I didn't pay my rent. Now, the people in the office were like, oh, it's no problem. You can pay it on Thursday. We're going to be at your building with the machine. But I knew that they were going to use this as a way to say that actually I haven't paid my rent and therefore I need to be evicted. So I showed up at the office with the check. I paid it with a check and I got the receipt. So we come in here today and sure enough, I start recapping what happened. I'm like, yeah, they were charging more than what I owe, and they're claiming eviction for an amount that the court had awarded me as a refund. And then the lawyer for the landlord's like, yeah, but what about the March rent? You didn't pay your March rent. And I'm like, actually, I did. And it was like, she didn't even know. She's assuming I didn't pay it because they weren't there with the machine. She's assuming. And she's hoping that I didn't pay it. And she's even stating to the court that I didn't pay my rent. And man, did I get some satisfaction out of telling her, oh yes, I did. I went to the office and I paid with a check. And I have a receipt. And very satisfying because I could see her horrible disappointment that I actually had my shit together and that I actually had a receipt. She's like, can I see it? Can I see it? Oh yeah, absolutely. Here you go. And she's like, you paid on the 4th. And I'm like, yeah, because you just switched companies and there was no one to collect the rent on the 1st. Whatever. These people just want me out so badly. But you know what? Round 3. Dung, 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 dung. I won another round. And I'm already anticipating that they're going to do it again. They brought me a rent increase notice. They didn't send it by bailiff. They didn't send it by registered letter. They brought it to me in person. They had me sign for receipt. And they wanted a 25% increase in my rent. After I'd signed it, I looked at my copy and I was like, wait, there's no date on here. And then I realized, oh my God, what was the date on the other one? And that made me feel a bit panicked. I just talking to my neighbors the other day, and they brought it all to all of us in January, and they did the same to all the old tenants. Well, one of them got it registered letter. So the ones like that, they're not trying to kick you out so much, they send it registered, but they were up to something because me and another guy and another couple, at least they brought it in person. And I said to the guy, did you look at the date on it? He was like, no, I didn't think to look at the date. I was like, yeah, me neither. She caught me off guard. And I wouldn't be surprised if they would like go and backdate it, or if there was no date on it at all. And then they just added one in and said that they brought it to us in November and we didn't respond in time. But apparently, since the copy they gave me didn't have a date, it means that these are two like not identical documents, and they wouldn't be able to prove that that date was on there when I signed it, you know? It was so bad. Like, I don't know what they're up to, but I already sent my like refusal of their offer, my counter offer, and they didn't respond. I wish they had applied to the rental court, because that would tell me that at least they got it. And, you know, it's better than them not responding, which tells me that maybe they are just going to try and claim that this document had a different date than what it actually had, you know. But like, this shit never ends. And those of you who've asked me, like, why don't you just move? Well, besides the whole partner caregiver arrangement with me being upstairs and Aaron being downstairs and me being on call for like when he cuts his foot and has uncontrolled bleeding in the middle of the night, which has happened, or falls out of bed, or has some other kind of emergency, and the fact that, you know, we're a family and Gunner goes between our apartments. Besides all that, I can't even afford an apartment in Montreal. If I lose this apartment, this little shoebox that is so cluttered and too small for us, if I lose it, I have to leave the city. Like, I can't just go somewhere else, because it's probably more than double what I'm paying right now. And like I said before, I don't know what happened. Like, why have the rents doubled? Who can pay $2,500 for like a 3.5? How is it even possible? Montreal, Quebec, Canada, we're having like an economic crisis here. It's getting really bad, and I don't know how people can make ends meet. I don't know how. I think it's like getting really bad, getting really critical. And the worse it's getting, the more I want to hold on to my apartment. As much as I grumble about it, I'm very grateful for it, because the alternative is worse. I mean, if I was evicted, I don't know what I would do. I think I would have to put my stuff in a storage locker and like sleep on Aaron's floor until I found somewhere to go. It would just throw our lives completely into turmoil. It'd be very hard to manage. I mean, I could probably just like move to a completely different part of Quebec. Yeah, of course. But the caregiver thing, you know? And also that's how I make a living, as his caregiver. So it's his care, but it's also how I provide for myself. Do I just abandon my man and go live in Chattagee and take care of somebody else? You know, none of this is easy. So pray for me that I get to keep my apartment. But thank you, God, for the victory today. That was very satisfying to tell her that I had the damn receipt. Oh my God. I was like, and I was talking to this lawyer in the waiting room, and I was telling her how, oh, it's awful. People don't know their rights and they make mistakes, and they don't pay the rent because they think they have a right because of this or that, and then appear and they get evicted. And we were just talking about how sneaky the landlords are, and all this crap that I've been through. And she was in that room there. She was in the courtroom when they pulled that one and tried to make it look like I didn't pay my rent for March. And I pulled out that receipt, and she had that little look on her face. She's like, yeah, you knew this was coming, you know. Good for you. Like, she gave me like a virtual high five, you know. It was awesome. Anyway, these people better not fuck with me again, because I'm ready for it. And I'm not going to give up, and I haven't done anything to break the law. And I know the fucking law because I read the civil code. So don't mess with me, landlord. I mean, namaste. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me and for listening to my little update. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.